Did you know African warriors once crossed into Europe and ruled it for nearly 800 years? Rome had fallen, Europe was fractured, and from across the sea came a man who would change history forever. His name was Tariq ibn Ziyad, and his rise marked the beginning of an empire Europe tried to erase. The year is 711 AD. The Western Roman Empire has collapsed, leaving Europe in chaos. The Iberian Peninsula, today's Spain and Portugal, is ruled by the Visigoths, a kingdom torn apart by greed, civil war, and corruption. Across the Strait of Gibraltar, North Africa has been transformed. Arab armies swept across the desert, carrying Islam with them. Berbers, native North Africans, dark-skinned warriors of the mountains and deserts, had converted, and now they formed the backbone of this new frontier. Among them was a commander named Tariq ibn Ziyad. His name would echo for centuries, but only if we listen. Visigothic Spain was ripe for conquest. King Roderick had seized the throne in a bloody civil war, leaving rival nobles bitter and plotting against him. His power was fragile, his people divided, and into this turmoil stepped Tariq. With just 12,000 men, mostly Berber soldiers, he prepared to cross the Strait of Gibraltar and face Roderick's much larger army. Reports suggest between 30,000 and 40,000 troops. It was madness. An African commander with a fraction of the forces invading a land that had never been touched by Islam before. Everyone thought it was hopeless. Everyone was wrong. But that's not the most shocking part. Tariq's arrival in Iberia is the stuff of legend. He landed on a towering rock that would forever carry his name, Jabal Tariq, today known as Gibraltar. And then he made a decision so radical it still echoes through history. He burned his ships. With the flames lighting up the night sky, Tariq told his men there was no turning back. The only way forward was victory or death. It worked. His troops, hardened Berbers who had fought for survival in North Africa, now fought with unmatched ferocity. But Roderick was marching south with overwhelming numbers. The two forces met at the Battle of Guadalete. For days, the fighting raged. The Visigoths had the advantage, on paper, but divisions within their ranks proved fatal. Some nobles, resentful of Roderick, betrayed him mid-battle. The Moors struck with precision, their cavalry cutting through disorganized lines. Chroniclers say Roderick himself vanished in the chaos. Some claim he drowned in the river, others that his body was never found. The Visigoth kingdom collapsed almost overnight. An entire empire fell to a man Europe had never heard of, and what Tariq did next would change the course of European history for centuries. After Guadalete, Tariq pressed forward with breathtaking speed. In just a few months, his army swept through southern Iberia, Cordoba, Toledo, Granada. City after city surrendered. Panic spread through Europe. To the north, Christian kingdoms heard whispers of Africans riding into battle under banners of Islam. To the east, Rome watched anxiously as the frontier shifted again. But Tariq was not alone for long. Hearing of his victories, the governor of North Africa, Musa ibn Nusayr, crossed into Iberia with reinforcements. Together, they created a wave of conquest that carried Moorish rule deep into Spain. By 718, within just 7 years of landing, nearly all of Iberia had fallen. Only a small Christian holdout in the mountains of Asturias remained. The Moors had carved out a new world on European soil. The rise of the Moors was more than a conquest, it was the birth of a civilization. Over the next centuries, the land they called Al-Andalus became a center of learning and culture. Cordoba would boast libraries with hundreds of thousands of books, while Paris had barely a few dozen. Moorish architects built palaces and mosques whose beauty still stands today, like the Alhambra. Science, mathematics, medicine, and astronomy all flourished under African and Arab influence. And yet, the story was rewritten. Later European chroniclers downplayed the African roots of the conquest, painting it only as an Arab invasion. But the truth is clear. Berber Africans carried the weight of this empire on their shoulders. Tariq ibn Ziyad himself was Berber, a man whose courage and faith reshaped history. Without Tariq's daring gamble in 711, there would be no Moorish Spain, no transfer of knowledge to medieval Europe, no spark for the Renaissance. This story proves one thing. Africa has always been more than a backdrop to Europe. It was often the power that changed it. What do you think? Were the Moors invaders or builders of a golden age? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories of Black excellence.